Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to those of you who have recently joined and subscribed. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the content that I have coming up on this channel in the near future. And yes, this is basically my second video of the year only right now. There's been a lot going on lately, and I've been doing a lot of creative bits and pieces as well. As what you can see here actually is one of those bits and pieces of creativity. Hopefully you will enjoy it. For those of you who are playing Stormworks Build and Rescue, I thought I would make another vehicle for the game. Now, Stormworks Build and Rescue is, as you may or may not be aware, an open world kind of physics sandbox vehicular kind of a game where you can drive all manner of vehicles, fly and sail them, ships and vehicles kind of thing, planes, trains, automobiles kind of thing, I guess you could say. And ships, and speaking of ships, I did actually make a ship as my first creation in this game, and that was over the break. But yes, this is my second creation right here for Stormworks, and yes, I've I guess really been bitten by the Stormworks building bug, I guess you could say. And yeah, so yes, this is what we're looking at right here. I thought I'd try my hand at creating some vehicles, and you can see here the actual graphics in the game obviously are quite simplistic, but that's, I think, part of the charm of the game. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Minecraft, but probably not to that simplistic level. But the physics aspect of the game is just wonderful. The amount of electrical circuitries and mathematical equations and functions and things you can build into your vehicles. There's a lot going on behind the scenes under the hood here. So yes, I'm just showing off the engine hatches here, which I've created for the vehicle. And there is a fuel filler cap as well on this vehicle. So yes, this is known as the HMW Scout Car, Hummer Motorworks, my channel, Scout Car. So this is like a armored personnel carrier kind of thing, okay? So to get inside, basically just climb up the ladder on the side here, and you've got these hatches across the top as well. I'm just going to show this off a little bit first before we hop in. You've got the engine hatch here where you can see the diesel engine just lurking underneath. And you've got those two hatches at the back there, which we were just looking at, where you can view all that as well. I'm just going to go ahead and close these up now, actually, because we're going to get this thing moving in just a second. So yes, this video is just meant to be a bit of a tutorial as to how to actually use this vehicle. For those of you who do have Stormworks, the game, and want to download this, it's actually in the Steam Workshop right now, and I've got a link below to download this in the description of this video if you want to go ahead and check it out. But yes, this is the main fighting compartment, I guess you could say, that we are in right now. Just going through the main hatch here, and you can see we've dropped down. Just get the flashlight out, and you can see a little bit of the fueling, I guess, fueling tubes and things like that. You can kind of see a sneak peek of the engine. There is the main engine fuel cutoff there behind, but you don't have to worry about that too much. You've got the reserve tank fuel valve and reserve tank right there, which gives you an extra 90 litres of fuel. You've got your main tank there, which is 90 litres as well. So by default, pardon me, it will actually draw from the main tank only, and this is how it will load up by default with that tank closed. And then that reserve tank closed. You can actually open the tank if you want to by just opening that lever like I did just there, okay? So up here we've got a few bits and pieces as well with regards to submachine guns and weapons, and there's extra padded seats and whatnot here. There's some grenades. Just go ahead and turn on the lights there. There's a little cabin lamp switch over there, and that's the main driving compartment, which we'll get to in just a moment, so don't worry too much about that just yet. So yes, this is the main compartment here. You've got cabin heat for those of you who want to take this thing into the cold climes of the game. There is a Arctic region, which I haven't actually been to so far, but I thought I'd put the cabin heat in just for those regions as well. So intake seat here on these padded seats. There's 3 seats here in the main fighting compartment, sorry. And then obviously the driver's position, where most of the business end of the vehicle is, which we'll get into, and I'll see if I can get into there. There is a way to actually sneak through. Whoops, that didn't work out too well, did it? Hang on, let's just... oh, now I'm stuck. Hang on. Let's try that again. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so, yes, you can see how you can get in and out of the driving position fairly easily. You can just hit F from back here as well, okay? And that will get you into the driving position too. Okay, but what we're going to do first, I just want to show you a few bits and pieces here as well. Got the generator, got a clutch down here as well for the engine. Okay, all of this I've just built up. You don't have to worry too much about it. you'll be interacting with these things using the controls, okay? You can see there's a battery and it's being slowly drained away because we've got some lights running at the moment. And we've got some function blocks and inverters and things like that, which you don't have to worry too much about. These just make the vehicle work behind the scenes, okay? They do all calculations for voltages and all the gauges and whatnot. So we just use the ladder there to climb out of the main fighting compartment there, just close the main hatch down. And this is the official way to get into the driver's position, is just open the driver's hatch, and then just hop down. And then basically just hit F when you're in here. Once you're whoops, you can see we're back in the main compartment again. Just go ahead and we'll just close this actually, hang on, the driver's hatch once we're in. And then yes, just hit F, okay, and now we're seated in the driver's position. Okay, so there's quite a bit to go through here. Okay, so I guess we've got to start from the start. The main thing to just be wary of is this throttle position dial, okay? So this is what makes and breaks your engine. If you rev it too high, not good. Rev it too low, you'll stall. So you want to keep the throttle position somewhere in the middle. That red bar at the very bottom is your minimum idle. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap the W key, and that's how you increase your throttle, as you can see there. And then S key will actually reduce it. So before we start the engine, just want to bring that white bar that you can see moving up to at least that red, you see the red bar there? You want it to be just probably on or just slightly above, very slightly above, okay? Otherwise it'll idle too high, okay? So I'm just going to prepare to get this engine running now. So you just hit the W key a few times, bring up that white bar to about the red mark, okay? You got your handbrake here, obviously, which is engaged by default. And you've got your clutch lamp there as well. You've got your handbrake parking indicator if that's on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and hit the starter. But before we do that, we do want to obviously disengage the clutch. Okay, so we do want to do that here. The clutch release lamp is currently off, so that means the clutch is engaged, so the engine is connected to the gearbox. So just hold the down arrow key like that for a few seconds and then release it. Clutch is now released. Okay, so now we can start the engine. So hit 5 on the keyboard and hold it for a second or two. There we go, and then that's enough. You can see there the engine RPM gauge is now sprung into life. It'll idle around 300 to about 600-ish RPM kind of thing. Anything in that range is fine. Obviously you want to get that white bar right on that red bar, otherwise I find that even if it's slightly above, the engine will just idle way too high. Okay, so right now we can see that we're idling away nicely. Clutch is released, obviously released. Parking brake is on, so we're not going to move anywhere even if we were to try right now. You can actually overpower the parking brake with low range gearing, but I won't go into that in this video. Let's go ahead and just release the park brake. Okay, handbrake off kind of thing. There you go. Parking brake on, light is extinguished. Now, you'll notice that our battery is draining away still. So after you start the engine, just flip up the generator circuit breaker there, and you'll see there that you'll start charging the battery. Okay, otherwise your low battery light will eventually come on when your battery level really depletes down to close to like 20% or so. So always keep your battery charging there, especially when you got headlights and stuff on. You can see there engine's idling nicely around 600 RPM. Here's your cabin lamps, which we did turn on earlier. So we can just go ahead and keep them on, and your headlamps, we can go ahead and turn them on as well. Your dial lights turn on once those are on. Okay, right. So there is a transfer case here which controls four-wheel drive. There's a whole slew of indicators here. Second gear engaged, low gear, overdrive. I'll explain all of this and what happens in just a moment. Basically, there's two main gears in the gearbox, first gear, second gear, and then you've got overdrive, which is your third gear, okay? So you've got a reverse gear here as well. So we need to move in reverse actually. Now I'm just getting a bit of noise in the background here. That's because there's an annoying helicopter that is in the area, unfortunately. Yeah, just gonna have to bear with him for a moment, but we'll use this opportunity to just reverse out of here first. Right, so we want to move in reverse. So the engine's idling away, clutch is released, okay? And so we want to move backwards. We can't really go forwards. We probably could, but I'll just show off the reverse gear while we have this opportunity. So to engage reverse, just flip this little reverse gear, little dial like this, that little key. Now that's reverse gear engaged, okay? Now handbrake's off. Let's just go ahead and tap the W key just to bring the throttle up a little bit, okay? Clutch is released still. We're just gonna go ahead and hit the up arrow, and that will engage the clutch and start moving us backwards. Okay, so ready on the up arrow, and that's it. Okay, so just engage the clutch. You'll see the RPMs will come down. We'll just increase the throttle a little bit there, just to keep the vehicle moving backwards. Okay, so if you was to like apply the parking brake right now, you'd stall the engine. So if you want to stop the vehicle now, basically disengage the clutch. So release the clutch, press the up arrow. Basically, you see there the clutch release light came back on, and we are basically just idling again. Okay, sorry, I had to just kind of cut out the helicopter again because it decided it's going to take off again. So anyway, right, okay, meat and potatoes of the video. So we want to move forward, right? Engine's idling. It's doing a very low idle at the moment, but that's fine. It's not turned off. So what we want to do is just move forward, and we're going to turn right and then head up to a little township that's nearby, and I'll explain how to go from first gear to second, and then from second gear to overdrive, which is like a third gear, yeah, we'll go through all of that. Right, so we've got our coolant temp here. You can see here you got your little speedo as well. So to move forward, obviously just make sure you're not in reverse gear. Just raise the RPMs a little bit. Okay, you want it somewhere around 600. Park brake, make sure that's off. Okay, and then clutch is released. Let's engage the clutch, hold the up arrow key for a second or two. There we go, and now clutch is released. Now she's moving forward. Okay, now just be careful of your RPMs. Bring up your throttle a little bit here. Okay, don't want to stall the engine. First gear is fairly forgiving, but just be careful on the hill starts when you're in first gear, because you do have to rev the engine a little bit more. Okay, but on level ground, you really can't stall this thing unless you've somehow got it in second or third gear and you're trying to start from third gear, for example, or overdrive, I should say. Right, so we're moving now in first gear, obviously not going that fast. So we want to change up to second, right? So hit the 2 key like that on your keyboard, and then you'll see the 2 key, the 2 indicator lamp is lit. Now we're in second. Okay, no need to use the clutch. Now we're doing about 15 miles an hour or so. So we'll just rev it up a bit more, get to about 20 miles an hour, and we'll go into third or overdrive. So hit the 3 key, and that will give you overdrive. There we go. You can see the revs drop down again. Just keep an eye on the revs. So if your 2 and overdrive lamps are illuminated, that's how you know that you're basically in top gear. Okay, that's how you get the maximum speed from this vehicle. Okay, so top gear, overdrive on, I should say, and second gear engage will give you about 50 miles an hour. Whoop, and just got to make sure I'm not going to crash this thing right now. Just going to try and use this little portal there, that little porthole, and you can see there's a fair drop-off cliff on the left-hand side coming up, and the road just kind of hugs that cliff face almost. So just got to be careful we don't crash here and fall off the cliff. Just going to follow this road up. Now we're going up a hill. If you find the RPMs are dropping, just hit the 3 key again like I just did there, and that will disengage your overdrive, and you're back to second gear. Okay, so if your 2 indicator light is lit and only that is lit, that means you're in second. Once the OD light comes on, that's your overdrive. Okay, that's your third. So there we go, we're over the hill. Just hit 3 again to go back to overdrive. Right, so that's basically it, folks. That's more or less how you can drive this thing, and I think it's going to make a nice little addition to Stormworks. Hopefully it's going to be a good little vehicle you can use to explore and kind of drive around and find all manner of trouble to get into, perhaps. You can see there we're just around half to a quarter throttle at the moment, and we're doing about 20 miles an hour or so. Okay, we just reached the township here, and I just want to show how you can stop. So to stop, just reduce the idle down, reduce the throttle down to near minimum, then just release the clutch like I did there. Okay, the vehicle will then just kind of slow to a halt all by itself, but you can engage the handbrake as well at that point if you wish. And there we go, we have stopped. Now, if you want to move again, obviously, basically, what the first thing you do is get out of third gear. So release, hit 3 and 2 so that there's no lamps lit on the right hand side there. So now we're in first gear. If all these lamps are off, you're in first gear. Okay, just watch your throttle there, handbrake off, and engage the clutch. Okay, and that's it. So just hold the up arrow to engage the clutch as normal. You only need to hold the clutch arrows, the up and down arrows, only for a second or two, and then release them. Okay. Alright, and then back to second by hitting the 2 key. Keep the throttle up, and then you can see I've gone to third there, even way too early. But if I apply a healthy helping of torque right now, of throttle I should say, that will keep the engine running, and she will actually just move along in third gear at quite a low tick as well. Okay, as long as the ground is level like it is now, you won't really have much trouble. Now I'm just going to go back to second and do a U-turn because I want to try showing off. Ooh, okay, almost hit the tree there. Alright, so we just did that U-turn in second gear, and we're going to go back to third, into top gear, or overdrive. Okay, now, four-wheel drive. Let's go ahead and stop this thing. So clutch released, the throttle at minimum, back to first, handbrake on. Now, to go up some steep embankments and drive off-road and do all the crawly stuff that you want to do, like, you know, crawling at slow speed and all that, what you can actually do is engage low range. Okay, so low range will basically multiply all your gears and gear them way down even further so that they go even slower. Okay, so you won't get 50 miles an hour anymore out of overdrive. You'll be going a lot slower, but you'll get a lot more torque. Okay, so perfect for crawling. But obviously what you also want to do is, there's your low range light there, just hit 6 to engage low range, but that's not the end of it. Obviously you do want to engage forward drive with this as well. So we'll just release the handbrake and we'll go ahead, engage the transfer case lever, and there we go. Forward drive indicator lamp has now lit up, as you can see. So now we're in forward drive low range, we're in first gear, and the clutch is released. That's why we're still running the engine, we haven't stalled. It's a lot more forgiving in low range, so just rev it up only slightly, and then handbrake's off and engage the clutch. Okay, and you can see now we've just lurched forward, but we're running very slowly. Hear the engine revving, but we're really not moving very fast. And then even second gear, if we rev it up in second, we used to get about 15, to 20 miles an hour. That's not the case anymore. And even third gear or overdrive, we're topping out at only about 15 miles an hour. Okay, so we're not getting 50 miles an hour because we're in low range now. Okay, so all your gears are lowered down in low range, but really only useful for driving off-road on very steep terrain. Okay, now if I go to second low, okay, I can go ahead and just go right up this hill like this, and obviously being in forward drive helps as well. And you can see here the engine just ticks up that hill, no problem whatsoever. Now if that was in high range, like not low range, in second, I would have stalled the engine for sure. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Low range is your friend, and particularly second low as well. So just watch your breakover angle here as well. The clearance on the belly unfortunately is a bit low. Okay, I've actually based this vehicle off a real life Scout car counterpart. Okay, but the real life version actually had these roller wheels underneath the belly. This one doesn't have anything like that, fortunately. So just watch your breakover, your ramp over angles. But yes, you can see there, just second low is perfect for doing this kind of maneuvering up steep embankments and things like that. So if I come down here like this, I just want to do one more little display here. Let's go up a steeper section even. And you'll see how the vehicle will just basically crawl up the hill. Let's just turn the wheel and up we go. So this is second low with only probably about halfway throttle, and you can see there it's a piece of cake. Okay, so really don't need to rev the guts out of the engine either to do that. Just second low and just a modest amount of RPM, and it will get you moving. Okay, so that's a bit of a off-road tutorial there as well. So we're just going to release the clutch, hit 6 to get out of low range. I'm just going to go back to first gear as well by pressing 2. Okay, and then release the clutch, engage the clutch I should say, and then we are back into first gear high range. Okay, still in forward drive though, so you can actually operate forward drive in high range as well. To get more speed and forward drive at the same time. Okay, but yes, that's basically it. Now we can go right back up to 50 miles an hour again once we get into overdrive. So we'll go to second first. We'll go to second, hitting the 2 key and then the 3 key to get to overdrive. There we go, and then we are in third gear. Okay, Got about 75% throttle going. Ooh, try not to roll this thing over. And we are doing about 30 miles an hour-ish. We should easily get to about 50 miles an hour. So yeah, that's basically it, folks. That's all I really want to show. Hopefully you enjoyed this vehicle in Stormworks, and hopefully it proves to be quite a nice little exploratory vehicle. It's got some weapons as well. For those of you who've got the weapons DLC, you might find that handy to do some fighting, but it's not really a war machine as such. Well, it kind of is technically, but it's more of a scout car, so it's meant for reconnaissance and things like that. Now, I just want to show as well, obviously, it looks like our fuel is running a little bit low. Whoops, looks like I just stalled the engine there. Okay, quick tutorial. If you stall the engine, apply the handbrake, okay, so it doesn't move anywhere. Release the clutch, so down arrow, and then start the engine once you've got your throttle setting where you want it to be. Release the handbrake, get the revs up, and then up arrow briefly to get the clutch back on. Reason I stalled there was because I was on a hill a little bit and trying to start from a stop. Even in first gear high, you do have to put a healthy amount of revs on when you're trying to do a hill start. If that was low range though, it probably wouldn't have killed the engine. Like I said, I've managed to overpower the handbrake with low range gearing, so I'll let you guys try that out. I'm not going to show that in this video. It's gone on long enough, I think, as it is. So yes, you can see there the diesel fuel, we're coming down. So one thing you can do, you can actually run, you can increase your range by bringing in the reserve tank, okay? So by opening the valve like that, okay, you'll actually bring in the reserve fuel, and that will equalize your reserve and main fuel levels. You can see there that your main levels are increasing. Okay, so the fuel from the reserve tank's now flowing into the main tank as well, and it's kind of equalizing the two fuel gauges, if that makes sense. So yeah, that little reserve tank transfer lever will help you out there. And you can see I've just done the hill start just by giving it a bit more throttle. And yes, you should be able to get probably anywhere between 100 to 300 kilometers out of this vehicle range-wise, if depending on how you run it. Four-wheel drive will use a bit more fuel. Low range will obviously not get you as far as well. But running in second gear plus overdrive should get you pretty far. Okay, so anyway, I think I'll wrap the video up here. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it, or if you want to see anything else on the channel. And I'll see you all in the next one.